Hello, my Leo friends. This is Kristen Redmond, Astrological Intuitive, and today we are going to be going over the planetary aspects that are making up the landscape of 2024 for you. And this year is an interesting year. The eclipses are really bringing into focus communication, communicating our needs, recognizing what it is that we want, and bringing to the surface the wisdom and the knowledge that we have in order to move forward. There's such an amazing thing that is happening in the house of life purpose and career this year for you. And it's setting this course for the next, 12 years here of energy that's really coming to a culmination. And it's a matter of bringing out some of these aspects in ourselves in terms of communicating what we want and what it is we need and how we want to move forward, right? And sharing that with the world as well. What that is, right, is Jupiter. Jupiter is the planet of luck and opportunity, expansion. It is the planet of wisdom. It is the planet of knowledge. It forces us to get outside of the limitations that we put ourselves in, because in reality, that's it, right? We limit ourselves with what we think that we can do, right? Even if it's somebody that said that you can't do it, we believe that person. And sometimes it can be a lifetime of believing something that was incorrect to believe with, right? So here we are in this time frame where Jupiter, the planet that pushes us outside of these limiting beliefs, pushes us outside of our comfort zones. It pushes us to explore the world around us. And it also pushes us to have faith in the darkness. When we have faith in the darkness, that things will finally come through, that our wishes will be given to us, right? The things that we pray for, that they will come down. When we can't see how, when we have no indication that that could even happen, having faith that it will is what sets the scene for miracles to occur. And that is everything that Jupiter represents. It represents blessings and miracles in the darkness. And a lot of it comes to us believing in ourselves, and trusting the universe to bring us what it is that we need on our path that's for our highest and best. Jupiter, that planet of luck and opportunity, is moving into the 10th house of career and life purpose this year. Now, this is a 12-year cycle. Jupiter takes 12 years to go around the sun, where we take 365 days. So when a slower moving planet like that transits into a new sign, it's a big deal. And this year, it's moving into the sign of Gemini. Gemini is a sign of communication. It's the sign of thought. It's the sign of learning, right? And teaching as well. Now, it rules our 10th house of life purpose, right? So you may find yourself as a teacher as one that's a perpetual learner, right? And when Jupiter comes through here again, this is a time when we are learning about ourselves. We're ready to share the things that we've learned, right? Jupiter has been transiting through the 9th house before it landed here in the 10th for the past 12 years, and in that time frame it's been expanding you into learning different things. So whatever it is that you're drawn to, whether it's spiritual or photography or uh, designing clothes or whatever it might be, the past 9 years is about accruing that knowledge and building up your wisdom in that. Now, as it moves in, it's ready to bring some rapid breakthroughs in career. You already know what you need to know, right? And you also know things that you don't know, but you do know them when you need to know them. You know what I mean? Like when you're put on the spot and all of a sudden it's like, how in the world did I know that answer to give somebody? It's our angels, right? When you are living in the vein of your life purpose, there are no obstacles that can get in the way. Only what our mind is telling us is there. And as Jupiter moves into that house of purpose and career, we feel that energy. We trust that energy. And maybe right now you might not see how these windows can open for opportunities. Maybe you want a new job. Maybe you want advancement. Maybe you want something better for yourself, but you just don't know how, and you can't see how, and everything you've done has landed into brick walls. Well, I tell you what, in 2024, Jupiter puts windows in where there used to be brick walls. It helps us to break through. They aren't in ways that we expect because they're just blessings that come out of our faith alone. This is kind of an interesting situation, right? Because Jupiter aligns with Uranus, the planet of unexpected things this year. That happens once every 12 years. And Uranus is the planet of unexpected things, right? So you have the planet of unexpected circumstances and unexpected events that aligns with Jupiter, the magnifying planet that expands us, grows us, and is luck. Unexpected, lucky opportunities, right? April 20th, that happens. It's not just that day, it can be a week before, a week after. Could have already happened now, but I tell you what, it's leading up to this, and it's all centralized in this house of purpose, of career. There may very well be a once in a lifetime offer that shows up, and you can't pass it up. Trust what your instincts are telling you. Leo is the most underrated sign of the zodiac when it comes to intuition. Leo is known as the ruler of uh, metaphysics, really truly, getting in touch with the higher self, believing in the self, right? This dates back to ancient times. Leo is where it's at when it comes to intuition. Trust what they tell you, trust what your instincts tell you. If some random opportunity pops up, know that it's a sign from the universe, especially in this time frame, and to trust what your instincts are telling you to do. Uranus says make sure that your career feels authentic to you. Uranus in general is the planet of authenticity. And what it does is when it finds us in these comfort zones that we should be moving out of and we're not, 9 times out of 10, it's going to take it away from us, right? Unexpectedly. We are here for a purpose. Our soul has already mapped out loosely what it is that we want to do this lifetime. And when we veer off a little bit too much, or we spend too much of our energy on others instead of building up ourselves and the reason why we're here, sometimes it takes a nudge from the universe and it gives us a heads up. It gives us a warning. It says this has to change. It says we have to do this. A lot of times we don't, right? That's when Uranus comes in. It comes in and it shakes things up on an unexpected way. And it may seem like, oh my gosh, I wasn't expecting this accident or this job loss or whatever. And in the moment, it feels terrible. But I can tell you, you can think of a time right now when you look back in hindsight and you're like, thank you, God, that happened, right? Because it wasn't authentic to you. It wasn't true to you. And the universe is here to work with you and it will bring you back to your path. Now, here we are with Uranus saying, is this career that you're in authentic to who you are? Is this going to bring you the most fulfillment? Does this represent everything that you have been learning and bringing yourself to do over the past 12 years? Is this what you want? And as a result, right, it may drastically change things. You may have an epiphany moment on what it is you need to do. You might have an unexpected breakthrough where all eyes are on you and you get that break that you weren't expecting, right? Those are things that can happen as long as it's true to your purpose, right? You may find that this is a year where there's so much happening in this sector. You may go completely in a different direction, right? Maybe you've been doing the same type of career for years and years and years. Let's say you make cakes, right? And you love doing it, and the Leo way of being creative, you love doing it, but now you have arthritis and you literally can't. Maybe Uranus has thrown it at you that you literally can't use your hands anymore, but you've always been very into teaching others how to do it, right? Maybe this is the year where you get out on YouTube and you start showing those things to the world. I tell you what, you don't know how you're going to get that network of people watching you, but the universe is behind you. This is the next step. Maybe you're meant to be the teacher, not the doer, right? And as a result, you get yourself out there, you take that leap of faith, and all of a sudden these people come out of nowhere. It's because that's Uranus, and that's all this energy working behind you to get it out there, right? You never know what's going to be happening. Now, the North Node is our soul's purpose this lifetime. It represents the direction we're really meant to go in. North Node is also known as the True Node, and that's why the channel is True Node Astrology, because it does. It represents what is going to bring our soul the most fulfillment this lifetime, right? And it goes in 20-year intervals around the wheel. And so this year, it is in the sign of Aries. Our soul's purpose is pulling us to recognize what it is that we want and need. That's what Aries represents. So that's already in the forefront of our minds anyway. We already are thinking of what is it that's going to bring me the most happiness and joy. Where the North Node and South Node are working at right now are in that ninth house where Jupiter has been expanding our knowledge. It's solidifying that. The North Node is solidifying everything that we've learned, and it's directing us to our purpose. On the opposing side of it, in the house of the conscious mind, in the third house, that's where the South Node is at right now. And the South Node represents kind of the baggage that we carry in from past lives. It's also the baggage that we carry in from this lifetime as well, whether it's hurts and disappointments, not believing in ourselves, all of those things. That's what the South Node kind of represents. And it's the things that we want to get away from, right? Because we want to follow our North Star. We want to go to that true node, and we want to be in that because that's our purpose. Now, when we have these eclipses working in these houses as well, that's where we shed the old so the new can come in. Now, these are working with where the North Node and the South Node are this year. And when you break all of that down, it's a matter of letting go of old baggage. Is it outdated beliefs that don't work for you anymore? Is it repetitive sayings that you say, I'm not good enough, I can't do this, there's no way. Nobody's going to watch me, nobody's going to follow me, nobody's going to come to my salon, nobody's going to, whatever it is. Those are the hurt words. A lot of times they're words of other people. And over here in the ninth house, that's our higher mind. That's our higher self. It doesn't come from the ego. It comes from the universe. It comes from the source of all. And it tells us that we have the ability to co-create our lives. And this is a year where this dynamic comes into play, especially in the spring and in the fall when these eclipses really hit, where that comes to the forefront, right? To overcome those traumas and the baggage of the past that are holding us from getting into this purpose, right? It's an amazing time frame. Now, you may find that also because this energy and these eclipses are happening here, in order for you to find what it is, maybe you don't know what it is you want to do, right? Maybe you don't know what's going to bring you soul fulfillment. Jupiter, ninth house, all these things, they deal with travel, whether that's travels of the mind or travels of the body. Maybe this is a year where you're able to actually get out and go places and do things. You will be inspired. You will get insight when you can disconnect from the world that you are consciously focused on and immerse yourself in these things. It's amazing what insights come to us when we can disconnect. Maybe this is a year where just traveling is important for you for making these connections with others. Maybe it's a year where you take new courses, maybe you take seminars, maybe there's something different that you're doing with that. Whatever it is, it's advancing you towards this major goal that's going to be the trajectory for the next 12 years in the soul's purpose. Now, the things we do make us our money, right? So next we're going to talk about money. What is in the finance sectors for you this year? Now, Saturn, over the past several years, or well, more than several, 29 years, Saturn has been working in reconfiguring and restructuring your relationship house. And we're going to get to that next when we talk about love. But where it's moving out of and moving into now is a finance sector. This is the house of debt. And I tell you what, you got your mind on your money and your money on your mind and how you're going to overcome these debts that are outstanding. Saturn is a planet of structure. It's about coming up with a plan. It's a very cold planet that looks at things logically. And so you also are going to start looking at a new, mature way of making and handling your money. Maybe this is about saving up for retirement. Maybe this is about planning for the long term. These are things that are really at the forefront of your mind because you realize you don't want to work forever. You want to be able to enjoy the fruits of this hard work, right? So this is going to be a time frame where you're really starting to focus on working down debt. This is huge, right? This is a major thing because when we look at it, we have eclipses that are going to be happening in Virgo starting next year, and that's your finance sector about actual money. There are new beginnings coming, but this is going to be the year where you probably have to tighten your belt a little bit more to start working on those debts and getting the plan around. And then there's going to be even more coming in, right? Maybe you start living in this purpose and the money really, really comes in under these eclipses that happen next year. But with Saturn going through that eighth house, this is definitely a way to clear out those old money debts and those old belief systems, right? Keep in mind that a lot of times when it comes to money issues, it's a scarcity, it's a fear, right? These are fears that we come into this lifetime from pre-existing lifetimes. So we have fear upon fear upon fear that kind of paralyzes us. And there's also things that happen in these lifetimes where we make vows of poverty. Especially if you're in like a communal living type of environment where everybody shared everything. The eighth house where the Saturn's going through, it breaks karma from these situations where we have to share all of our resources with others. So this is a time frame where things come up, right? You're really able to break through those blocks. I really highly recommend doing something where it's a breaking the vows of poverty type of meditation. Tons of things out there just to release that energy because you don't need to carry it with you. You're ready for abundance. We're designed to be abundant beings and to share that knowledge with others on how to also be abundant as well. So this is definitely a big one, right? Saving and working down the debt this year. That's a big one. But where Saturn has been working over the past 29 years, like I said, the planet of restructuring is what Saturn does. It's also the planet of boundaries, limitations, right? It really does restrict us at times, but it makes us work hard because that's where the major lessons are at. That's what Saturn does. And it's been working the past 29 years in our house of relationships, marriage, partnerships, relationships. Business partners can also fall into that as well. But so we've really done a lot of realization, right, on what it is that we need in relationship and what we need moving forward to have these healthy relationships. Now, with that, we know where to put our boundaries, right? Maybe you know what responsibilities are yours and what are the other people's, right? It can happen in a lot of different ways. Maybe you're somebody that likes to have that control in relationship and you want to make sure that you have everything planned and you're telling your partner what to do and blah, blah, blah. Maybe in this past year, it's really come to light that you don't need to be in charge of so much. Maybe that you realize that you can soften your approach and let that other person take charge, and then it alleviates the stress from you from all of the worry. Maybe it's the opposite way. I don't know. But we all learn things in different ways. And I know that our house of marriage partnership has been restructured, no doubt, right? But another thing that is going to be happening here is that we have Pluto going into Aquarius, which is the beginning of this marriage, relationship, partnership house. Pluto is the planet of complete transformation. So where Saturn has worked with us to gain the wisdom necessary and the plan for what it is that we want, what our new boundaries are in relationships, what our standards are in relationship, Pluto was here to make sure that we get that and it transforms it. And it's going to be there over the course of the next 20 years, making sure that we have relationships that are authentic to who we are, people that recognize and love us for who we are now, maybe not who we were 25 years ago or the idea of what we could be, but people that accept and love us for who we are now. Why I say that is because Pluto is moving into Aquarius. It is our opposing sign that tells us in order to be happy, we have to be true to who we are and we need to be proud of who we are. And so, as we have Pluto, the planet transforming our relationship house, it wants to make sure that by the time this 20 years is up, we have that. We have a great understanding. So it will be transforming relationships of all different kinds. One of the rarest influences that somebody can have happen in their chart in the house of relationships is Pluto going through. And you have that. You have that. The healing themes are coming through it because ultimately through the uh, transformation that occurs, right? Transformation isn't easy. It's dirty. It's messy. It can be painful at times. It requires us to bring up the things that we've buried deep. So maybe these are ideas, maybe these are memories, maybe these are beliefs, maybe these are abusive events that we've been through. There's a lot of things that we hold on to, hurts that we hold on to in this house that Pluto is ready to let go of in order for us to really be present in any relationship moving forward. We are healing these themes of power, control, manipulation, abuse, um, and repetitive and toxic cycles that we find ourselves in. If you have found yourself over this time frame in these repetitive relationships with the same issues that occur, you're ready to rip it out from the roots now and heal it once and for all. Time to overcome these unhealthy patterns in a lot of ways, especially when it comes to money, finances, and debt, right? That's a big thing too that falls into that as well. So that's a lot for this year. That's a lot of amazing things that are going to be happening. Not only that, I know that this is a year where you're going to be looking at things a lot differently. There's so much happening with Mercury, the planet of the mind, being in the fire signs when it retrogrades every time this year. It's about finding what brings you your power. It's about having the courage to make the changes, and it's the courage to say the things you need to say, right? Saying them to yourself and saying them to others. So now that we've kind of gone over all of those, these are birthday specific ones. Now, mind you, this can affect everybody here that we're talking to, all the Leos. But some of these aspects are kind of once in a lifetime ones, so they may be dialed in a little bit more. But no matter what, Leo, you will go through these at some point. Maybe you already have, maybe it's on the cusp, maybe you're feeling it now. Whatever resonates, take it. If it doesn't, leave it, right? No matter what. Everybody has a specific birth chart, though. So where all these things land that I just talked about, maybe that major transformation is actually happening in your house of children. Maybe it's happening in relationship. Maybe it's you're reinventing who you are. That type of information you need to get with a reading. And I have a link below if you want to get a reading. We can look deeply into how it's affecting your specific chart. But in general, these energies are around you. So anyway, blah, blah, birthdays. Here we go. July 26th through the 28th. Pluto is going to be opposing your sun out there in the universe. Now, Pluto is that planet of transformation. So you are that person that is seeing firsthand and recognizing those themes of power, control, and manipulation, those toxic patterns that you find yourself in, and they come to the surface, and especially in relationship, right? Because that's where it's moving into. You are recognizing that and you're ready to change it, right? That's a huge thing for you this year. You're finding your power and you're finding the ability to change this once and for all. This isn't easy, right? It's not easy, but it ultimately is going to be amazing when you can work through it all. Absolutely. July 28th through August 22nd, Jupiter is going to be squaring your sun out there. Now, Jupiter is that planet of expansion. So this is the one that's going to be saying, how much have you been in comfort zones? And what do I need to do to get you out of it? Right? Expanding yourself. Maybe this is where you do take classes or you do some traveling. You follow those nudges, because I tell you what, when you do, a little effort is going to go a long way for you in terms of bringing in these blessings. If your birthday is August 12th through the 20th, Uranus is out there squaring your sun. This is a once in a lifetime energy that happens. Change is the name of the game for you. That feeling of, am I being true to my authentic self, is at the forefront of your mind this year. You are ready to be in some, especially when it comes to career, right? You're going to be making sure that this is something that gives you the freedom, the flexibility to be who you are, to do the things that you want to do. Just stay connected to your heart. Your heart is what I have written here. Listen to what your heart is telling you with whatever this is, right? Whatever, there's this nagging urge to make dramatic change and things are not true to who you are. If you keep feeling that repetitive theme, listen to that, because that's your heart and your higher self talking to you. and you will know what change is right for you and what steps to make. So, Leo, I tell you what, these are the things, right, that we look at our moon cycles too. Before I end this, we can manifest what it is we want at new moons. It doesn't matter what the new moon is, but some of them are more powerful. Your new moon is August 4th. This is extremely positive for you to put all of this information in that I want to change this. I want to make this different in my life. I'm going to be moving forward. This is what I want to do. We put it in that moon. 9 times out of 10, when we see the results from that, it can come at any time, but I have seen time and again that it comes at that 6 month cycle later when the Leo full moon will hit. Full moon is when things reach an apex, a conclusion, and the results kind of sprout out from the things that we've manifested. That is going to be on January 25th. That's this year. So here's the thing though, right? Now, our new moon in August of 23, the seeds that you planted then, those are the ones that come to fruition in January 25th of 24. And then in August 4th of 24, you're going to be planting seeds for what you want moving forward into 25. And then that full moon in January of 25 is where you may see the results from that. They can come at any time, right? But anyway, long and short of it, thank you so much for watching, and know that you have the power within you to make any change you need, and you are the creator of your story. Listen to your heart. Have a wonderful 24.